Hey, welcome to the podcast. This is The Surge Effect, and I'm your host, Mike Surge. This podcast will be talking about anything and everything, life in general to current events and past events, and all things about this beautiful and wonderful world that we live in. And this podcast, well, it'll probably have an effect on you. Well, hello, and welcome again to another episode of The Surge Effect. So in today's episode, we are going to talk a little bit about Bill C-11 being passed yesterday in our House. But before I get started, just wanted to mention sponsors. This episode is sponsored by Love My Legs in Owen Sound, Grey Bruce. Love My Legs allows you to strut with confidence, offering 3 styles of waistbands of comfort and wearability and the only lifetime guarantee in the industry. For more information, follow them on Facebook at Love My Legs Owen Sound. Just click on the link below the description and click on the link and check them out on Facebook. Also sponsored by He Shirts, She Shirts. Just go to www.heshirtsseshirts.ca. We are more than just a clothing company. Check them out in the description below as well. Just click on the link. All right. Well, welcome again, like I said, to another episode of The Surge Effect. Today we're going to be talking about Bill C-11. Now, just like the title said, Bill C-11 passed in our House yesterday, April 27th, 2023. It's a pretty sad day as far as I'm concerned in the history of this country. But before I get too much into Bill C-11, let's first take a look at what Trudeau said just the other day about vaccinations. I found this very fascinating when I ran across this. And his gaslighting about the whole situation. And before I play the clip, let me just explain a little bit about what gaslighting is in case you don't know what gaslighting is. So gaslighting is a form of manipulation that often occurs in an abusive relationship. It is a covert type of emotional abuse in which the bully or abuser misleads the target, creating a false narrative and making them question their judgments and reality. Ultimately, the victim of gaslighting starts to feel unsure about their perceptions of the world and even wonder if they are losing their sanity. So, with that quick explanation, let's have a look at what Trudeau said just the other day about vaccinations. Check this out.
Misinformation and disinformation is carrying people to believe things that are untrue. And vaccinations is a perfect example of it.
Any vaccine we distribute to Canadians will be safe for Canadians.
You know, are people who've probably gotten very sick from vaccinations.
Every vaccine that is approved is safe for Canadians, is uncompromising.
Well, individuals are allowed to make their own choices. There may be all sorts of different reasons why someone is hesitant to get vaccinated. There's no more excuses to not get your shot. And therefore, while not forcing anyone to get vaccinated,
Enforcement measures in place will make sure that everyone is vaccinated.
I chose to make sure that all the incentives,
Travelers across the country need to be fully vaccinated. People coming into the country need to be fully vaccinated.
were there. Don't get to work in the public service, don't get to go to movie theaters or gyms or restaurants, to encourage Canadians to get vaccinated. And that's exactly what they did. We got vaccinated to a higher level than just about any other of our peer countries.
Unknown causes was the leading cause of death in Alberta last year.
So I'll let you judge whether or not the information that you just heard, whether it was misinformation, if it was disinformation, or if it was, in fact, gaslighting, or all of the above. This is the Prime Minister of Canada, of course, saying these words, who is now in control of Bill C-11 and how it is going to be implemented in our once free country. So Bill C-11, I've mentioned this before in a few of my different podcasts in months past, but just to maybe refresh your memory if you don't know, what is it, how it affects us Canadians, and Bill C-11, how is it going to control basically what we say, what we see and what we hear online on the internet. So let me just show you a little clip of Melissa Lanceman, who is an MP in our House of Commons here in Canada. She explains a little clearer, just so you might understand a little bit better on how this Bill C-11 works. So let her explain it. Listen to this.
Imagine you go to a restaurant and you order yourself a burger. But instead of a burger, they serve you a salad. And when you ask the server why you got a salad, they tell you it's because of a new government rule. Salads have to account for the certain percentage of meals eaten in Canada. And that's ridiculous, you might say, and you wanted a burger, so you should get a burger. Nobody would accept something like this when they went to a restaurant, so why would they accept it when they browse the internet? That is the essence of Bill C-11, a solution looking for a problem that doesn't exist, and the latest attempt from these Liberals to stick their nose in where it doesn't belong and limit the freedoms of Canadians. And I would hope that the member from Louis Saint Laurent will share a burger with me, because I'm going to share my time with him.
So does that sound to you like you have a choice, that you have a choice at all? Does this sound like it's a good thing in a free thinking and a free living society? Well, here's yet another clip of Rachel Thomas. Now she's going to explain to you just how this bill works as well. And just another explanation of how it works, and you can look at it from a different point of view. Check this out.
Imagine for just a moment going into a bookstore, and as soon as you walk into the bookstore, there's a guide, and you are allowed to go through this bookstore only with his or her help. Now, in this bookstore, there are yellow books, and there are purple books, and blue books, and green books, red books. Oh, there are red books. In fact, the red books are the only ones that the guide will take you to. The yellow books, the green books, the blue books, the purple books, the pink books, well, they're all there, seemingly available to you as a consumer. But the guide is actually not permitted to take you to look at those books. The guide is only permitted to take the consumer to the red books. So of course, yes, in theory, you have this entire store with all of these lovely books. But at the end of the day, the guide will only take you to the red books. Now you might ask, well, I'd like to go through the bookstore on my own without the assistance of this guide. He seems rather ridiculous. But no, that is not an option. You must go through the store with this guide, because that is the rule of the store. This is the internet.
So this is how things are going to work now that this bill has been passed into law. They have discussed this in our House. They've debated it. The Liberals even shoved it through without even having a debate about it one time. Now the Bloc and the Liberals and the NDP, they've all sold this country down the river as far as I'm concerned. The Canadians who are not paying attention, I would suggest that you start to do that right now, because this is just the start of things yet to come. You don't think this is the start of things to come? Well, look no further than the hundreds of millions of dollars taxpayers gave to the Ukraine. Look no further to the carbon tax that the citizens continue to pay for climate that will never change. Doesn't matter how much money we throw at it, this climate will never change. Our carbon taxes went up 3 times in the last 12 months. Look no further than the inflation of this country, because this government has done by printing money and flooding our country with money. Look no further than the grocery stores and the money we pay for groceries, the heating that we pay, the gasoline prices that we pay. The list goes on and on. Just look no further. So this Liberal NDP coalition government continues to dump on the citizens of this country, and nothing ever gets better. You can just simply ask yourself a question. Are you living a better life than you did several years ago? Do you have more money in your pocket? Do you have less stress or more stress? Are you living your best life? Just be honest. And just answer those questions. And every time you hear a politician say that they have your back, you should be saying to them, prove it. Prove to me that you have my back. Now, Bill C-11, since it's passed into law, it was passed 52-16 by the senators in our Senate in Canada. Like I've said before, this is simply the start of things yet to come. Once this government starts to chip away at our liberties, slowly, with these little nibbles, you won't know until you have nothing. Then you realize something is terribly wrong. But then it's far too late. Far too late. So all of these companies, Netflix and Google and Twitter, YouTube, they're going to see what it feels like to be censored, because this bill will be doing exactly that to them. They'll be censoring their content. The content that the government feels is not Canadian enough. Good luck to them all. Because this bill, in my opinion, has opened up a Pandora's box, and it will unleash a shitstorm of censorship upon the citizens of this country. I personally have sent off numerous emails to my representatives, and I have made my voice heard many times here on my podcasts. The powers that will push this through, they will do what they want when they want. Voting at our ballot box is the best way to fire these people, to get them out of office. People voted them in. People need to vote them out. When they're no longer working in your best interest, it's time for them to go. These individuals, they have gone rogue, and nothing that you say is going to change that fact, except for voting at the ballot box. So, from my position, the Canadians we've put them in this position of power. So it's time to make a statement. And the next election, you just have to basically check that box and say, you're fired. And get them out. It's really that simple. Because we are in control. Not them. But it's a sad, sad day for this country as far as I'm concerned. With Bill C-11 being passed yesterday. I just can't believe it. I'm just in somewhat of a bit of a shock. Because I look back at the men and women over the last 100 years, have been to wars, war-torn countries. They fought in far-off lands for freedom. Our freedom. Freedom. And yesterday, that freedom was crushed by the Liberals and the NDP and the Bloc. And, of course, the senators that voted 52-16 to pass this bill through. This is censorship, plain and simple. No matter how you slice it or dice it, it's censorship. Like I said, enough's enough. Next time there's an election, you have to vote these people out. These same people that can't even answer a simple question in our House of Commons when asked a question. They cannot even answer a simple question. A yes or no question, or even a half a sentence or a full sentence, but just answer the question. But no, they decide to filibuster and go off on a long tangent that's not even related to the question that was asked of them. These people, if they were in the real working world, they would have been fired the first day. When the boss asked him to do something and then they give him a big song and dance, the boss would just say, I have to let you go. You're fired. You're out. But in the political arena, they get to dance, do a song and dance, and they get away with it day after day after day, and no one holds them accountable. No one holds these people accountable. The Speaker of the House doesn't even hold these people accountable when they can't even answer a simple question. I I don't believe it. The only reason what the Speaker of the House is there for in the first place is just to say order, or, say, oh, you can't use a prop, or you can't sing, or different things like that. They don't say, could you please just answer the question that was asked of you? No, he just sits there and listens to this song and dance being played by these politicians. The citizens of this country should say enough and start emailing or phoning your representatives and telling them you deserve better. You want better. What we have now is not better. Not by a long shot. Something to think about. Anyway, thanks a lot for listening to my podcast today. It's just a short and sweet episode in regards to Bill C-11. And I appreciate everyone subscribing to my channel. Please don't forget I can also be found on Rumble. And, of course, any podcast app that you download on your Apple or Android phone, just type in The Surge Affect, and you will find me. You'll find my emblem, the TSA. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel with at the very end. Just hit that little bell, and it helps with the algorithm on YouTube. Okay? Until next time, everyone, cheers. This episode sponsored by He Shirts, She Shirts. Go to www.heshirtssheshirts.ca. Just type in the letters TSA, The Surge Effect. When you check out, type in TSA for your coupon and receive 10% off your next purchase. Thanks for listening to today's podcast, everybody.